Hi everybody, I'm Joel Stocksdale for Autoblog, and this is the 2019 Hyundai Veloster Turbo. It's all new from the ground up, and while it's completely redesigned, it still has some of the funky characteristics of the original Veloster. It still has the 3 doors, and it still has a spunky 1.6-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. Now the question is this going to be just a sporty commuter, or is this going to be more of a bargain price sports car? The 2019 Hyundai Veloster Turbo has a turbocharged 1.6-liter 4-cylinder engine. It's very much like the last one and has about the same output. It's 201 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque. Unlike some cars that have turbocharged engines that make loads and loads of torque really low in the RPM range, this engine has a bit more lag than we expected. So when you're getting on the throttle, there can be a little bit of a pause and then the turbo hits. It's not too bad, it's certainly manageable, but it is a little bit more than we expected. The engine is also coupled to a nice 6-speed manual transmission, or if you need, a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission. We're trying out the 6-speed manual in this Veloster R-Spec. This particular manual transmission also comes with a standard B&M short throw shifter. The throws are short, they're precise, they feel good and mechanical and solid when you get into the gate. It's not quite up to the snickety, light, and precise feel of, say, a Mazda Miata or a Civic Si, but it's a really solid shifter, and it's probably better than a lot of cars in the market. One thing that's not as enjoyable, though, is that this, like a lot of other turbocharged cars that we've driven, has a bit of rev hang when you're shifting between gears. And this is a little bit frustrating when you're trying to accelerate quickly, because the revs don't fall back down to where they would be when you get into gear. As far as power delivery, the 201 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque feel pretty adequate. We could see some people wanting a little bit more out of it. It does feel a little bit slow compared with, say, Volkswagen GTI or Ford Focus ST, but it's still right on par with Honda Civic Si and Hyundai Elantra Sport for that matter. It does pull really well from the middle of the rev range. You're rarely going to need to downshift to get it to really hustle. And when you're flooring it at lower speeds, it boogies. It's got good, strong torque. With the new generation of Hyundai Veloster, Hyundai has equipped all of the models with multi-link rear suspension. And as far as we can tell, it's a positive upgrade. This car rides and handles really nicely. The ride is on the firm side, and on some rougher pavement you're going to be moved around a little bit, but for the most part, it damps bumps well, and you're never ever kicked or it's never harsh. It's just a good firm sporty ride it's not punishing. And it also always feels very stable going over bumps. The chassis also feels really stiff. It doesn't feel like it's going to rattle or twist or anything like that. And as far as handling is concerned, this car has superb grip. It just sticks and sticks. And part of that is because the R-Spec comes with summer performance tires on them. The car corners really flat. There's very little body roll. And it clearly, beyond just the tires, it feels very planted and secure. Arguably, it may even feel too secure. It would be nice if you could coax out a little bit of lift-off oversteer, but this car, it stays firmly planted in where it is on the pavement. As far as steering is concerned, it's very quick, and the car definitely turns in rapidly and eagerly, but what's disappointing is that the steering feel is virtually non-existent. You really can't tell much through the steering wheel, and it lacks some of the pinpoint accuracy of some of its competitors. With that being said, it is still quick and it's weighted nicely. The Hyundai Veloster is all new for the 2019 model year. The redesign takes something that was a little bit on the bulbous side and tightens everything up. It looks more athletic than the outgoing model. It does still retain the 3-door passenger door format. That 3-door layout means that it's got one long driver's side door and 2 doors on the passenger side, one for the front passenger and one for the rear passengers. And that rear door is the only way for you to get into the back seats, really. What this means is that you get a car with most of the looks of a 2-door hatchback or coupe, but with a bit of the practicality of a full 4 or 5-door hatchback. It is a little bit annoying if you have 2 passengers in the back and one of them has to slide all the way across to get into that rear seat. But hey, it's better than having to climb over a front seat, in most cases. One downside, though, to the Veloster's shape and that rear door is that the opening is really quite tight. The roof is so low that you have to really duck under to get in there if you're a tall person. The low roof line also means that there's not a lot of headroom in the back seat in general, and there's also not a lot of legroom either. In addition to the Hyundai Veloster's funky, stylish exterior, the interior is pretty stylish too. Different trims get different upholstery and color variations. In our particular R-Spec, it comes with a mostly black interior with some black and gray upholstery and lots of yellow accents that are really pretty stylish. It's almost a yellow gold color. You'll find it on the steering wheel and on the center stack, and also in the contrast stitching and some of the upholstery. Everything in here looks well put together, and while there are some cheap plastics, most of them have interesting high-quality textures to them that make it look a little bit nicer than normal. Hyundai's infotainment is extremely simple to use. The screen is very responsive. It's not over-cluttered. It's got simple icons to find. And wonderfully, there are physical button backups for almost everything. While most of the interior is positive and it's got good forward visibility, one genuine weakness in this car is it has horrible, horrible blind spots in the rear. We would highly recommend you get one of these with blind spot monitoring because it will be an enormous help. When you turn your head to look back, you just see a giant black pillar. And that's the 2019 Hyundai Veloster Turbo. It's missing that last little 5% for it to become a truly competitive bargain sports vehicle like a Volkswagen GTI or something similar. But that's not to say that this is a bad car, not at all. It's actually a great alternative to any other kind of economy sedan or hatchback. It's got lots of style, it's got a spunky turbocharged engine, it handles great, it has a nice interior, it comes with plenty of features, and the turbo version starts at a reasonable price of about $23,000. So if you're looking for something that needs to be a daily driver, but still has some soul and some energy about it, the Veloster Turbo is a great way to go, and you should check it out. So to find out more about the Hyundai Veloster and other vehicles similar to it, be sure to check out autoblog.com.